pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first item, is there any public comments or questions concerning today's agenda? Seeing none, move on to number one, motion to approve the November 5th, 2025 agenda.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Motion to approve the October 1st, 2025 meeting minutes.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve the October 15th, 2025 meeting minutes.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. I'll abstain. I wasn't there. So a motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve the October 22nd, 2025 conference minutes.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve the October 29th, 2025 conference minutes.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve payment from the general fund for county bills in the amount of $291,194.14.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve payment from the election fund in the amount of $25,646.64.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve payment from the debt service fund in the amount of $134,522.50.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve payment from the SRCP fund in the amount of $15,869.50.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Under personnel, motion to hire attorney Lindsay Collins as a part-time assistant public defender at the public defender's office for less than 1,000 hours per year, effective November 10th, 2025, pending successful drug screening results. This is a replacement position.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve the transfer of Shannon Newalt from the position of full-time clerk in the Commissioner's office to the position of full-time benefits clerk in the Human Resources office for a 30-hour work week effective November 10th, 2025.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to recess the Commissioners' meeting to hold a salary board meeting.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
The salary board, motion to convene the salary board.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve the October 1st, 15th, 22nd, and 29th salary board minutes.
Motion.
Are you abstaining?
I'm going to abstain from the 15th. I was going to, do you get a second on that?
Second.
So the motion is second. I will abstain from voting on the one for October 15th since I wasn't here. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion to set the annual salary of attorney Lindsay Collins at $55,000 per year as a part-time assistant public defender at the public defender's office for less than 1,000 hours per year, effective November 10th, 2025.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to adjourn the salary board.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to reconvene the Commissioners' meeting.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to open bids for the list of items for sale on behalf of the Sheriff's Office and Commissioner's Office. A Fire King Safe 23, no, Fire King Safe, a National Security Safe, and a National Security Safe. 3 different safes. Tom, you got them, right?
Don't have any.
Can we get a motion? We can get any? No? No reason to make a motion. All right, well. Can we make a motion to re-advertise them?
Yeah,
I
one more
guess we can
time.
do that. One more time.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to open bids for the sealed bids for the 2026 tax anticipation note.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
I'm going to abstain from that.
Okay.
Yeah. Here we go. First one's Wayne
So
Bank.
I'll make the motion. I'm sorry. Good. I'll make the motion.
I'll
We'll
second.
second it. All in favor? Aye. Okay. What do you got?
Okay. First one, Wayne Bank, fixed rate of 3.17. Only $500 for legal counsel, not to exceed $500. We gotta abide by the dead act, in my opinion, so let me just check this.
What did you say the rate again, Tom?
3.17.
Okay.
That's the first one. Second one, M&T Bank, M&T. $3.25.
costs. Fees, council fees go all the way up to $5,000. That's under two.
Okay.
Next is Homestead National. Interest rate 5.80. That's a little high. Apparently there's legal counsel, but I'm not getting told what the cost for legal counsel, but their legal counsel's reviewing a lot of work and drafting things, so I assume that's gonna be a cost as well. And then the last is the Dime Bank. $3.41. And a document fee of $2,500. And then again, opinion by me from the county, saying to meet the requirements of the Debt Act.
Okay, well, while we hear what the numbers are, I just suggest that we table
I'd like
this.
to table
Yeah,
4.
we table the decision until November 19th, so that we can just review and make sure that we're making the right decision. So I'll make that motion to table the wording until November 19th. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion.
I'm used to hearing Ron, sorry.
It's okay. I have a motion to second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
And Mr. Schmalzl was abstaining. Okay. Next item we have is motion to authorize the chairman to execute payment application from E.R. Lindy Construction Corporation in the amount of $66,564.68 for the Bennett Avenue paving project.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Motion to authorize the chairman to execute change order number 1 from E.R. Lindy Construction Corporation for the Bennett Avenue paving project.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to advertise the updates to the December Commissioners meeting schedule.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Motion to adopt resolution number 2526, Operation Greenlight for Veterans, November 2025.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Ron, you want to read that?
Resolution number 25-26, a resolution supporting Operation Greenlight for Veterans, November 2025. Whereas the residents of Pike County have great respect, admiration, and utmost gratitude for all the men and women who have selflessly served our country and this community in the armed forces. And whereas the contributions and sacrifice of those who serve the armed forces have been vital in maintaining the freedoms and way of life enjoyed by our citizens. And whereas Pike County seeks to honor individuals who have made countless sacrifices for freedom by placing themselves in harm's way for the good of all. And whereas veterans continue to serve our community in the American Legion, Veterans of Foreign Wars, religious groups, civil service, and by functioning as a county veterans service officers in 29 states to help fellow former service members access more than $52 billion in federal health, disability, and compensation benefits each year. Whereas approximately 200,000 service members transition to civilian communities annually, and an estimated 20% increase of service members will transition to civilian life in the near future. And whereas studies indicate 44 to 72% of service members experience high levels of stress during transition from military to civilian life. And whereas active military service members transitioning from military to service life are at high risk for suicide during their first year after military service. And whereas the National Association of Counties encourages all counties, parishes, and boroughs to recognize Operation Greenlight for veterans. And whereas Pike County appreciates the sacrifices of our United States military personnel and believes specific recognition should be granted. Now therefore be it resolved with designation as a green light for veteran county, Pike County hereby declares November 4 through 12, 2025 as a time to salute and honor service and sacrifices of those transitioning from active service. And be it further resolved that Pike County encourages its citizens in patriotic tradition to recognize the importance of honoring all those who made immeasurable sacrifices to to preserve freedom by displaying green lights in the windows of their place of business or residence from November 4th through 11th, 2025.
Thank you, Ron. So we're going to ask Josiah to be here, but he is extremely busy. But I just wanted to, we understand what this resolution is about. We have to always keep the people who serve our country the foremost of our thoughts and prayers for what they do every day and what they endure after their service. But just a little shout out to the Veteran Service Office up there. So just in the last 2 weeks, we have received 2 letters and also phone calls about the incredible work they're doing up there for the veterans of Pike County. Both of these individuals called us and said without their help up there, and it's not just Josiah, it's also Nikki and it's also Chris, they would not have been able to receive the benefits that they're currently now in step to receive. To give you an idea, I know Josiah would be here and we would ask him. His number is now reaching $15 to $16 million in benefits that he is making available to veterans in Pike County. These are unbelievable numbers compared to where we were, and it's because of his leadership up there. And I just think it's important that we make that part of while we're doing this resolution, that we understand the hard work that's going on up there in Shahola. And again, that's why he's not here. His schedule just will not allow it because it's nonstop every day with people coming into that office. So I just thought I would have to reiterate that and tell everybody what good work they're doing.
Thank you. I concur.
Just for my clarification, are there 3 full-time VSOs up there now?
There, I know there's 2. I know Chris. I think Chris may have just gotten his certification
This week. Yeah.
This week, yep. So
that
there's
means
3. There's 3 up there. Yeah, and they are. I mean, you talk to them. It's not like there's some wall up there. They're constantly either with walk-ins. They try to do as much as they can with appointments because these applications are time-consuming to the point where I believe he says some of them take up to 40 to 60 hours to deal with as they process through this. So but they also just accept walk-ins. If somebody walks in there, then they'll deal with whatever they can at that moment, and then set up an appointment in the future. But it's if you're a veteran and you need some assistance, or you just want to go talk to some people that are in the veteran service, go up there and talk to Josiah. He is a true pro at this, and as are the other 2.
Can you just really quickly give me a contrast between where you were several years ago before Josiah came in and where you are now? What the difference is? If
I remember the numbers correctly, we were which was still a big number. I think we were somewhere in the range of the $8 million and $9 million. In the last couple of years, he's been here, 3 years now? 3 or 4 years? That's the type of increases that he has provided.
So it's literally twice what it used to be.
Yeah. And it's a good question to go up and talk to him. He has it all on a PowerPoint. He can show anybody how this is occurring, where we fall within the state, where we fall in the state as far as a Class 6 county, and where we fall in the state as just among all the counties. And we rank very high up there, even with the bigger counties.
It's a good, positive story.
Yeah, it really is. And the reason I want the story is because I want veterans to know that they're up there. That they're open, 8:30 to 4:30 every 5 days a week, and the service is there. And the more we do to promote it, the better off it is for everybody in our community. Okay. Next we have is a motion to approve the transfer of $50,000 from the Act 13 administration account to the general fund.
Motion.
Motion is second. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Motion to authorize the chairman to execute the proposal from LJ Bogomil Incorporated for the admin water main repair.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Motion to authorize the chairman to execute the agreement from Avenue Insight and Analytics LLC on behalf of the Recorder of Deeds Office.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve the November 2025 Share Housing Fair Grant Request in the amount of $3,813.27 on behalf of the Area Agency on Aging.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to authorize the chairman to execute the local workforce development board grant agreement.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve the Pike County Home Program payment voucher payable to Pro Solutions Home Renovations, LLC, in the amount of $90 on behalf of the Office of Human Services.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve the 2023 Community Development Block Grant Program payment voucher payable to Hailstone Economic in the amount of $3,455.70 on behalf of the Office of Human Services.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Motion to approve the 2022 Community Development Block Grant Program payment voucher payable to Hailstone Economics in the amount of $109.93 on behalf of the Office of Human Services.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Motion to approve the following human service payment vouchers on behalf of the Office of Human Services, ERAP 2.0 in the amount of $92.60 and HSDF in the amount of 60 cents. Wow.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Motion to approve the Affordable Housing Payment Fund payment voucher payable to the County of Pike in the amount of $8,973.60 on behalf of the Office of Human Services.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
And we move on to miscellaneous. Every month, every meeting as we do, Penn State Extension calendar events for everyone's information. And now we're going to talk a little bit from Mr. Brzezinski of the Planning Department about the Household Hazardous Waste Program being held November 8, 2025 in Charlotte. Michael, you're on.
Thanks for putting on the agenda again. This is the last 3 days for registration for the Pike County Household Hazardous Waste event. Will be this Saturday from 9 to 2. Registration needs to occur online or in my office. It's Eventbrite. It's $30 per car. So we are accepting paint for this event, as well as pesticides, poisons, old oil, old gas. There's a full list of products that we will accept at that event, as well as a poster that's available. So please get the word out. There's plenty of spots still available. We want to do all we can to try to get these products safely disposed of and not harm our environment. So I appreciate you putting me on the agenda to get word out one last time for the last 3 days of registration.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Great job. Okay, the next that we have is from the Planning Department, Jessica Yoder here to talk about the open space, greenways, and recreational plan update.
Thank
and
you.
Public review period.
That is exactly right. That is the most important part of that message. Our open space plan update is out for public comment right now. The public comment ends on November 15th, and we highly recommend that all citizens, municipal government, take a look at this, review it. This has an inventory of our natural assets, our recreation assets, things in here that residents and visitors alike can do when they are in Pike County, highlighting some of the accomplishments of our Scenic Rural Character Preservation Program, our Ag Land Preservation Program, and it also outlines in the back, section 9 there, speaks to the goals and recommendations for the next 10 years. So our original plan was done in 2008. So this will guide for the next 10 years as to how the commissioners, how county programs are created and operate and go towards what's in this. So there was information on social media, pikepa.org/OSGR, Open Space Greenway, Greenway Recreation. So we do encourage folks to take a look at that. If there are any questions, by all means, give us a call, send us an email, or there is a comment button on there for folks to submit feedback.
Thank you. All right, and then the next piece we have on here, and I think you're also involved in this. This has to do with the 01 project, which there was a study done for alternate solutions to the issues down there, done by Michael Baker Incorporated. And I know zoomed in we have Brian Funkhauser and Kate McMahon from NEPA to talk about this. So this was a grant that was extended to the county a year ago, maybe 18 months ago, through PennDOT in Dunmore, because the price tag to finish 01, we all are aware of 01, has been lingering on here to complete it for probably going on 40 years, in there, 35, I'm stretching mine. But there's some sections left, and they're the most concerning sections, and we all knew that these sections would be the hardest sections to accomplish because of the cost, even when this started back, like I say, 35 years ago. And those sections run from 739 through to, I'm going to pick almost the Lehman line. It's close through there, and if you ride down there, you'll see it's some of the most treacherous areas. The narrowest area, obviously, being between 739 and Silver Lake Road. What we asked PennDOT to do was the initial amount to complete this was in some range of like $40 million, which is, to try and find that kind of money at one time is going to be almost impossible. And the length of time it takes to do that, the 40 million just with inflation is going to drive that price to, well, just do the math. So what we asked PennDOT to do, and this is what Michael Baker Associates has done, is to go through there and find if there's solutions that we can do that we can do in little pieces, but also at the same time provide some safety issues, address the safety issues down there without breaking the bank and being able to go to PennDOT, whoever, and find the funds to do it. So I hope that's a good leadway into this, and I'll leave it off. I guess Brian's going to lead this, and I'll let Mr. Funkhauser talk about it, and whatever else you need to correct me on, feel free to do that.
Now, can you hear me and can you see my screen?
Yes.
We can, yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, thank you for that introduction. And I think before I get started, I'm going to pause and see if Kate McMahon had anything she wanted to say by way of introduction.
For pushing for the funding for the study. I think it's been a really worthwhile process over the last 18 months. And hopefully we've identified some projects that are a little bit smaller and a little bit easier for us to fund. And we'll be talking to PennDOT about those. I'll let Brian go through the presentation.
Okay, thank you, Kate. And good morning, Commissioners. It's good to be with you today to talk about the work that we've done. It's been over a year and a half, roughly, that we've been working on 2001. And again, this is an effort that's been led by Kate at the NEPA MPO in collaboration with a lot of partners, including Mike at the planning office there, Delaware Township, the National Park Service, and PennDOT has been involved at multiple levels, both at County Maintenance, District 4 in Dunmore, and Central Office here in Harrisburg. So again, my name is Brian Funkhauser. I was the project manager for this overall effort. And I'm joined on the call this morning with two of my colleagues, Yvonne Choke and Ben Borman, and they were the engineers who did the engineering work on the project. And what we'd like to do is just provide an overview of the study and its findings, and then if you have any questions or comments afterwards, we'll discuss those. As you heard in the introduction, over time, PennDOT has improved various sections of this corridor. Back in 2004, PennDOT completed preliminary engineering for a proposed reconstruction for a section of the roadway from its southern terminus there at Route 209 near Bushkill to the intersection of 739 there in Delaware Township. And PennDOT has organized the corridor into three separate construction sections. Our study focused on section 405. That's how PennDOT refers to this, section 405. This is the remaining 4-mile section from the end of section 402 all the way up to its intersection with 739. So it's a little over 4 miles in length, and it includes two bridges, one over Digman's Creek and the other one over Hornbacks Creek. I'm not going to dwell too long on the findings and recommendations here. I know you're all aware of how this has been a priority for many years. This has been a long-standing priority for Pike County. It's documented in county comprehensive plans and even at the regional level with regional long-range transportation plans. Again, our study report is recommending that the roadway be organized into distinct segments based on traffic patterns, crash data, crash activity, and community needs. So again, as was mentioned already, this segmentation is going to allow for more targeted improvements that can be prioritized and funded incrementally. We also did a cost analysis. We have cost estimates for each one of the proposed improvements. And we wanted to do that to provide the county and the MPO with a clear picture of what the financial requirements are going to be for each phase of this project. And so the breakdown that you're going to see should really help enable the MPO to better align project funding with annual budget constraints. We also looked at needed safety improvements down the corridor. Our report highlights critical safety enhancements that are needed for the roadway, including better signage, diverting truck traffic on the corridor, and of course, eventual reconstruction of the roadway. And beyond the reconstruction projects, we also are looking at some interim projects as well. Given the high cost of reconstructing 2001, the county and the MPO are going to need to consider delivering interim projects to help maintain safety and traffic operations until the major reconstruction projects can be funded through the regional TIP. And so these interim projects are discussed here in the following section. Just highlight those here. Again, looking at current traffic statistics on 2001, the rate of truck traffic on this roadway is as high as 9%, which is significant given the roadway's narrow width and the winding nature of the roadway. It's believed that the high rate of truck traffic on 2001 is really a byproduct of some of the prohibitions that we have on truck traffic along Route 209. So the section of 209 between Bushkill and Milford Borough lies almost entirely within the Delaware Water Gap National Recreation Area, and it's restricted to non-permitted commercial truck traffic. So the figure that you see here on the slide shows proposed truck routing signing options in order to divert truck traffic off of 2001 and onto other roadways that are better able to accommodate those commercial vehicle trips. We're looking at roadways like Route 402, for example. Our report recommends two options for establishing a primary truck route by redirecting truck traffic that's headed northbound on Route 209 and getting those trucks onto Route 402. We're looking at trying to intercept those trucks down here in Marshall's Creek before they get on 209, trying to intercept them down here and getting those trucks onto Route 402. And we've had meetings with PennDOT District 5 and now in town. They've been involved in this effort as well. So we've talked to them about some of the options we were looking at down there, and they provided some recommendations to us to help facilitate that. Another relatively low-cost project includes proposed safety improvements, such as doing things like installing advanced warning devices and pavement markings to better alert drivers of the four-way stop intersection there at Sisters Deli, there at that intersection. Other improvements that we're looking at for that particular intersection include things like middle rumble strips, flashing stop ahead signs, different things to improve driver attention as they approach the intersection and navigate their way through the intersection. And there's other things, low cost improvements like clearing the vegetation in the intersection would also be proposed to help improve sight distance through the intersection. So again, this is just some near-term, low-cost options that are available to the county and the MPO to consider prior to getting into the big ticket, the major capital intensive projects that were really the focus of this evaluation. So again, looking at the reconstruction projects, looking at the corridor in its entirety, we organized it into 5 discrete pieces that we would be looking at for improvement. Just want to say off the top, the map here on the right of the screen shows project numbers. I know, Commissioner, at an earlier meeting you were asking about priorities. So I wanted to convey the projects here this morning in terms of their priority. So I have them listed here in the table from 1 to 5 in terms of their priority. And you'll notice for different ones of these projects, there are alternatives for each one. And so I'll describe those briefly here. The first priority, moving beyond those minor safety projects I mentioned earlier, the first priority for reconstruction would be widening and bridge replacement down here at the southern portion of the study corridor. That would include replacement of the bridge there over Hornbacks Creek. You'll notice the 2 alternatives here. There's an 8% alternative, there's a 10% alternative, and that is just in relation to the grade, the vertical grade of SR 2001, we're looking at a maximum vertical grade of 8%, which would meet current design criteria for a roadway classification of 2001. And the roadway is classified as a minor arterial, so there's different standards, that we need to meet. If we were to go with a 10% maximum vertical grade, that would require a design exception approval from PennDOT. And if you go with a 10% grade, that more closely matches the existing conditions that we find there on the corridor and would also minimize impacts to adjacent property owners and environmental resources. So that's why when you look at the cost estimates, if we go with the lower grade, it comes with a higher price tag because there's more engineering work, more right-of-way costs involved with that 8% grade. So that's why you see the differences in the cost estimates here. The second project entails a segment roughly close to a mile long of roadway widening and reconstruction. It would also involve the construction of retaining walls that would be needed just to limit some of the impacts to Highland Acres Road, as well as an adjacent business parking lot. And there's other roadway intersections that would also have to be reconstructed, again, in order to accommodate the proposed profile grade adjustments to 2001. Project number 3 is really focusing on that intersection there at the deli, there at that corner I mentioned earlier. This is at the intersection of 2001 and Silver Lake Road right there. The first alternative that we looked at is a reconstructed 4-way stop intersection. And as part of the improvement there, the intersection will be realigned to an 80-degree angle. The minimum allowed is 70 degrees, but we'd be looking at aligning that intersection at least at an 80-degree angle to bring the intersection up to current geometric requirements. We're also looking at the addition of a right turn lane that would be added for westbound traffic on Silver Lake Road. In order to better facilitate traffic that would be moving westbound on Silver Lake Road, trying to turn right and go northbound on 2001. So we're trying to better facilitate those movements and better accommodate design vehicle turning movements there. The other alternative that we're looking at is a roundabout, slightly more expensive at $6.8 million. That would propose the construction of a roundabout intersection there, replacing the traditional 4-way stop intersection. Project 4 also includes a widening and reconstruction from a point just north of Log and Twig Road to Bland Lane. There's several other intersections similar to the second project here, but there are a number of intersections with 2001 that would also have to be reconstructed to be able to accommodate the proposed profile grade adjustments on 2001. And then the last project, number 5 here, is this one up here. And this would include a widening and replacement of the bridge there that spans Dingman's Creek. This is a bridge that was built back in the late 1930s, but it was recently rehabilitated with a new superstructure about 2 years ago. So overall, that bridge is in fair condition. And you'll see from the costs here that they vary widely from $12 million to nearly $23 million. And again, that is being driven by more costs that would be entailed with having that 8% gradient. So if we go with that, it's going to be engineering standards that we're going to have to meet that 8% maximum grade. And that would have a significant impact on surrounding environmental resources and involving land acquisition from the Delaware Water Gap Recreation Area. So there's a lot there that would be driving up costs depending on what option is ultimately chosen. So I'll move from the engineering to the funding side of things. And again, I believe the original cost estimate for all this was in the neighborhood of $48 million as a result of our analysis using the most recent engineering standards and numbers that are available. Our costs that we've identified are putting the overall price tag for all of this, all of these improvements, ranging anywhere from 55 to 68 million. And again, that would depend on which option would be chosen for each one of these projects. And again, as you're dealing with NEPA and the NEPA MPO, again, their average annual budget is around, it's roughly 49 million. Not only for Pike County, but for a 4-county region that they have responsibility for planning and programming for. So our report really stresses the importance of addressing the safety concerns up front, while at the same time recognizing the financial constraints that are being faced by the MPO. But we do believe that by segmenting the roadway into smaller projects, that the MPO is in a better position to be able to move forward, making incremental improvements that would enhance safety and benefit the local community. And we believe that this approach ensures that that the MPO would be better able to balance all of the regional priorities that it's wrestling with, while ensuring that that SR 2001 remains a safe and a vital transportation route into the future. So Kate was our project manager with NEPA. I know she's on the call here today. And again, I'm joined by the engineers who work with us on the project. So I will leave it there. If anyone has any questions or comments regarding this study effort.
Okay, well, thanks. It's very helpful. This is what we were anticipating to receive. I guess the first question is, has this been presented to the Delaware Township Supervisors?
They have the document but not presented.
Is it going to be just as we have here? Because I think that would be important.
I'm sure we can, yes.
Yeah, we should, because obviously they're the ones that should be helping us make these decisions, since it's right. I mean, it's just in their township. So we should plan on doing that and seeing what they think we should do. I guess, Kate, the question to you is some of these segments, and we look at those numbers. Obviously, we're not going to find $49 million, but are those realistic things that we could anticipate getting put on the tip and being done in I'll just use this term, in a somewhat timely fashion? I know all these things take a long time to do because there's a limited amount of funds, but we all know that certain sections of that road, and particularly the section between 739 and Silver Lake Road, is a very dangerous section because there's just no place to go. So I'll leave it to you and give us a little update what you think the funding would look like.
Sure. So we're in the process of updating our TIP now. It'll be the 2027 TIP. We have an initial meeting scheduled with District 4 for next week to start looking at, where we're at with our current TIP, what's going to carry over, and what projects we may be able to look out, in the update. Because we've got the 4-year TIP, and then we also have our 12-year program. So I would say currently, probably the Hornbeck's Creek project, the one that's listed here, is probably going to be the first one that we would look at. Currently, the district does have that identified on the 12-year program because they know that bridge needs to be replaced. I think that would be our best bet to start, just because it can use a mix of funding. Because if it's a bridge, that's a certain pot of money, and then roadway is another pot of money. But it is going to, we can't fund all of it out of our regional TIP. We are going to need to go to PennDOT central office to see if they can provide us with some additional resources coming to our region for this project. And I've had some initial conversations with District 4 that we may be able to look at funding the preliminary engineering and some of the project off of our regional TIP, and then asking them to help us on the construction side. So those are the initial conversations that we're having. But when we start looking at projects that are in the 15 million range, it's going to be a challenge. So we're definitely going to need the support from central office, from the secretary. And I think it's important then that we get the political support for these projects, from the township, from the commissioners, from, our state officials, to try to go to central office and go to the secretary to help us get funding for these projects. Because unfortunately, Brian mentioned our $49 million allocation per year that covers all 4 of our counties. So a project of that size, it's tough for us to, fund that off of our regional tip without some outside help. So I think that's kind of where we're at, but, we'll have that first meeting with this report next week, and we'll start having those conversations.
Okay, yeah, we appreciate it, because, obviously on the county side of this, we also have things that need to be taken care of in other sections of the county. It's not just, this is important, it's been on the plate for a long time, but there's many bridges in this county that the county owns, as you're fully aware, that we need to address pretty soon.
Absolutely.
So
there's a lot of competing projects.
Chairman, if I may.
go ahead. Yeah.
I just wanted to briefly say I remember attending this meeting in Dunmore, and our original ask obviously was for the full funding that we've been owed for 5 billion years. And when that became, obviously impossible, and we heard about the impacts to not just in the environment, but people's homes. The request was made to study alternatives and to study what a segmentation would look like in terms of breaking it down in, more doable bites financially. But I would like to acknowledge PennDOT Secretary Mike Carroll and thank him not only for coming to visit us here in Pike County, but for not hesitating to greenlight the funding to have this study done. And I'm very thankful for that.
So I think we should try to organize. I know you have this meeting next week with District 4. I think we should organize pretty quick here a meeting with the Delaware Township Supervisors, whether here or down there, but just a separate meeting, not that, and bring them in, and maybe you can schedule it with Mr. Funkhauser for him to get the same discussion. We can be a part of this, all right? Because we have to get them on board so they understand. I know they've seen this, that they agree with this priority, and this is the way we should start to do this. Sure. Okay, yeah. So can you start to work on that and schedule it?
Yep.
Okay, because I know we have just so and this is somewhat all tied together, next week we have a meeting with Lehman and Lehman Township, and this is separate from that, have concerns with their bridges down there, and we need to talk to them about what we're going to do, and this is on the county bridges, but it's the same pot of money. The money doesn't magically appear from other places. So I think that's our step to do, unless there's questions from anybody else. Good? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. We will be in touch. We appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sobering numbers.
But we do.
On here, 58 million.
Not surprising.
No, we knew it, but the only way we're going to get this done is doing it by pieces, like we suggested. Okay, so then we move to press and public comments. Okay, seeing none, motion to adjourn.
Motion.